guys, welcome to Random Kitten's Let's Plays. I am Random Kitten, aka Rebecca, and we are going to be playing Don't Starve. This will be a little bit different. It's not just a Let's Play, this is going to be an actual tutorial. So after I posted my first video, a friend of mine came to me and said, hey, how long have you actually survived in this game? It's like 100 and some odd days. And well, he's having trouble getting past the first week. So this game can actually be pretty hard, and I've had plenty of time to hone my survival skills, so I figure I'll go ahead and share some tips for you guys, and hopefully you'll be able to survive longer and enjoy the best parts of the game, which come later on. So I will be playing in Don't Starve Reign of Giants. But all of the stuff that I will be showing, or at least most of it, will be for both the regular Don't Starve and for Reign of Giants. So, let's go ahead and get started, and we'll start up a new game. So, when you first start out, I'm actually going to unclick Reign of Giants so I can just show you the basic vanilla stuff. You can pick your character, and different characters are easier or harder to survive with. Wilson is kind of the generic good character. He's got the good quality that he actually grows a beard, which is useful because you can make a meat effigy of yourself, which helps with resurrection. And the beard actually keeps you warm in winter. So, neat little trick. The fire starter, immune to fire damage, which is pretty nice. And lights fires when nervous. That can help with survival during the nighttime. So if you're running through a forest and you forgot to set a fire and it gets dark, boof! Your entire forest is gone. But you'll have light. That's not exactly the best thing. Wolfgang is great because he does a lot of damage when he's fully fed. It does take a lot more to feed him though, so if food is your problem, then this is probably not the guy for you. We have Wendy, the Bereaved. I haven't played well with her. She's apparently comfortable with darkness, but I don't know how that works. Maybe it's just her sanity thing, but her sister's a little odd of a game mechanic. WX78, charged by lightning, damaged by water. So, especially in Reign of Giants, that can be a little difficult because it has more weather effects. But charged by lightning, you run around really fast, and you light up at night. So that's kind of cool. Wickerbottom, if you have unlocked her, because I know in some versions of the game you have to unlock all of these, she starts with a lot of recipes. So if you've got her unlocked and you have a lot of trouble with not being able to get all your gear up front, she's a good one to have. And then we have Woody the Lumberjack. He has a lovely axe and a terrible secret. That axe is crazy. The axe will not break. Woody will. I'm not gonna spoil it for you. If you don't know his terrible secret, play him and find out. It's a lot of fun. Wes and Maxwell, I've never played them before, never bothered to unlock them, not even gonna try. So, we'll start out with the Gentleman Scientist Wilson. So, when you're first starting out with survival in this world, the name of the game is Don't Starve. That's not your first priority. It's really not. Your first priority is to make it through the day and the next night. Now, admittedly, you want to get food, but you want to actually get all of your tools first. You want to be able to make fire. And you want to be able to make things like axes, pickaxes, shovels, things like that. So First suggestion is always wander around and pick as much stuff as you can. And usually if you wander far enough, you'll usually spawn close enough to a source of food that you won't die. Just go ahead and pick all of that. Don't worry too much about spoilage yet. Spoiled food actually does have its uses. When it turns to rot, you can use it kind of the same way as you do manure, so very handy. But your first starting out things that you want to look for that you can get without any tools is your grass, your twigs, and your flint. And your food, like berries and stuff like that. Now, I know that in this grassland area over here, there's not going to be any flint. It doesn't spawn there. So, flint is really important for starting out. You can't really make any tools without it. So I'm going to skip that area for now and meander over here, picking all of the saplings and the grass that I can find. Ah, here we are. Okay, so we found some flint. Flint is incredibly valuable. Rocks are really useful too. Rocks will come in handy when you're wanting to do a base camp, which we'll get to that later. But for right now, we'll focus on getting everything we can. Seeds are really useful. You always want to pick up seeds whenever you can. And the reason for that is, one, you can eat seeds, and eating seeds actually restores your health as well as your hunger. Plus, you can also plant seeds once you get your base camp set up and get yourself some food that way. So, super useful. Ooh, speaking of super useful, gold nugget, that is a ton of luck. Luck is a major factor as far as survival in this game, but at the same time, you can have a really bad start and still make it through. It's all just a matter of just keep moving. And while I am running around and gathering things, I'm looking for a couple of basics, because I'm thinking about setting up a base camp in the future, and I know I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself because I haven't even shown you how to make a fire yet. But want to find a good place to settle down, and if I find it, I can kind of bookmark it in my brain and come back to it later. And that's useful. Well, I've got a lot of supplies set up. You see I've got 8 twigs, 14 grass. Got a little bit of food, not very much. I'm actually kind of disappointed in that. But I've got plenty of flint and a good number of rocks. So what you can do with flint is you can go ahead and start making tools. You definitely need the axe, because you're going to need to chop logs to make your fires. And your pickaxe, breaking down rocks, is super useful. Now, if I hadn't found this graveyard, it would be really important for me to mine stones like this, because they give gold. And with gold, you can make your science machine, which gives you a lot more possibility on the different tools that you can make. And in vanilla, there's 2 different types of rocks. There's this gold-laced rock, which gives you the gold nuggets. And then there's this regular type of rock, which gives you something called niter. If you ever have to drop anything in your inventory, drop the niter. Just do it. Unless you're really into figuring out how to use explosives, which I've not really bothered with. And I've made it 100 and some odd days, so it's not that important. Although I know it does have its uses. I'm a little bit of a coward when I play. Ooh. Well, that's lucky. So we've got a gnome and a box thing. Now something you'll notice is I'm standing around all these evil flowers, and my sanity is dropping tremendously. Hanging out around evil flowers will break your brain. Don't do it. Unless you're intending to go insane. As you see, I'm collecting a lot of stuff. The gnome, you can actually, if I find the pig king, I can trade the gnome for gold nuggets, which is useful for making all kinds of technologies. And the box thing is for if I want to go into challenge mode and try and escape this world, which is very advanced. I've never even done it. It's very hard to survive challenge mode. So, it's dusk. It's getting to be kind of really close to nightfall. I want to think about making a fire. Now, if you're really unlucky and you've gotten to this point and you haven't found any flint, it is possible to make it through the night. But you're going to want to have straw and you're going to want to have twigs. So all of that gathering that we did, very important. And note, I just made it in time. So with this, you can survive through the night. There is a crazy monster out there. Oh my. It's actually fairly cold. Well, I am going to focus... Oh my. Let's see if I can find some extra trees here. Okay. So, if I light this tree on fire, I can switch over to my axe and chop trees. Which is going to be very important. Very, very quickly. Let's get those logs. Just enough. And I can set up a permanent campfire. Crap. I'm gonna die. Okay. Well, we'll try that again. Light the tree on fire. Make a permanent campfire. And that's how to survive the night. If you just so happen to be in that sort of circumstance, now you know what to do. That was totally unintentional. By the way, when you burn trees, you get this wonderful thing called charcoal. Super useful. You also get ashes from various things when they burn. And that also comes in handy. You can make healing salves out of it. And you'll find out later that healing is not the easiest thing to accomplish. Okay. Well, I'm running low on food. So here is a berry bush. And I am running out of space. So remember what I said about the niter? Gone! Alright. Okay, so let's see. I want to go ahead and get logs. Logs are very important. You always need to have a good backlog of them. You always need to have plenty of logs, because lighting that fire is ever so important. As you see, I almost froze to death in the middle of the night, because I was running around with a torch, and I didn't realize it was that time of year. You'll also notice that for all of the running around and gathering that we did, I've only got 3 twigs. They get used up pretty quickly. Once you start making tools, very important to keep gathering. Always keep gathering. You may think, oh, I've got way too much of stuff. Oh, I don't need it. Yeah, you need it. Okay. Well, we've got a lot of supplies. Our inventory is pretty full. Not very much food. So since I'm looking for food, there's really a couple of things that you can get early on as far as food goes. So you've got your carrots and your berries, which you just kind of find out in the wild. And then you have your seeds, which you can typically get from birds. They'll usually drop them, but they also eat them too. Figure out that one. And then, let's see, what did I list off? All of those. There's another one that I forgot. Oh, rabbits. So with rabbits, those actually require a little bit more work, but you can get a steady supply. Oh, this is not a good place for surviving me. One of the things that I always like to do is find a road and follow it. And the reason for that is the roads usually go through all kinds of biomes. They're a great way to get from point A to point B. Because when you walk on a road, you actually move faster. See? Slow down, speed up. So, super useful. And I'm kind of back to where it might help if I actually use the map. Okay, so I can see this area around here is kind of green. And there's a berry bush down here. So I know that in this direction, there's probably going to be a bit more of the food type stuff. Oh, bother. As a note, sometimes you are really lucky in this game, and sometimes you are really not. And, fortunately, I am really not lucky in this game for finding food. Which is great, because then I get to tell you what to do when you are really not lucky with finding food. There are ways to survive. Okay, we've got more area down here. Okay, so we've got mushrooms. Technically, I can eat a mushroom, but when that happens, watch the little bars right up there. Like, right up there. Kind of getting used to where my camera points to. So up there, watch the bars. And you'll see my hunger went up, but my sanity went down. All of the mushrooms have those positive, negative effects, and that changes when you cook them. In an emergency, yeah, green mushrooms are fine. And this is... oh, hey, a touchstone. Well, that's at least lucky. So if I die, this will not be totally wasted. Alright, so here we have one of our food sources, the rabbit hole. And one of the things that you can do right up front is create a trap. Super useful, takes a lot of stuff. Remember what I said about collecting all of the grass and twigs. Let's make sure before night falls. Okay, I do have enough for a campfire. That's important. So I always set the trap right outside of the rabbit hole. And it's one of those set it and forget it sort of things. I need to pick some more grass because I need enough for not only another trap, more traps is always better, but I also need to remember to keep some in mind for my fire. Because remember, starving, you won't starve right away. As soon as night falls, if you don't have light, you will die. And that's the important part. So, oh, there's a carrot. Perfect. I won't die. Well, I will die if I can't figure out how to eat it. There we go. Alright, so quickly before time falls up, let's set a trap. And it's getting really close to that time, so set myself up another campfire. Now something I like to do is I like to set my campfire near to things that I can do. So nighttime is not entirely wasted. I can come over here, chop a tree, get myself some more logs, prepare for the next day. The more stuff you can do at night, the better. And that way you're not just sitting there huddled around the fire, all forlorn, lost in the dark. I also want to cook my food. So I've got berries, and they're roasted, so they actually preserve longer, and I believe they raise your hunger a little more. I'm not sure. Toasted seeds not only provide, not only give you a little bit of hunger, but they also heal you, which is nice. I think cooking foods just in general helps with your sanity, but also prototyping tools. And for that, we want a science machine. I don't want to create the science machine until I find a decent place for one. But we'll see how that goes. As a note, when it comes to campfires, when it starts to get low in the day, I always use pine cones as my fuel, simply because you always get pine cones from trees. It's not hard to get more pine cones, but logs can be somewhat of a pretty specific commodity. So, and you have to have logs to start your fire. So, I'm gonna stay as far away from the rabbit holes as I need to. But I'm gonna remember this area. Definitely pick up those seeds. And you can see my sanity starting to get low. I'm gonna... flowers. And those don't really do anything for my hunger, but they do help my sanity by picking them. Aha! Carrot. I'm not starving. Ah, this is such a success. Okay. So, flint and rocks max stack at 40, so I'm not going to bother with those anymore. But, I'm going to want more and more and more grass for my rabbit traps. And while I'm out here, I'll go ahead and make a rabbit trap. There's a bunch of rabbit holes right here, so I'll just set it and forget it. Let's see, where do we need to go? Okay, so lots of potential for exploring out this way. Aha! Berries. What can I get rid of? I have 41 flint. That flint's taking up too much space in my inventory. Okay. Alright. Well, here's a little bit of a fortuitous thing. Ponds! If I were to get some silk, I could make a fishing rod. Do not attack the frogs. Because the frogs will go hostile on you, and they will steal your stuff, and they will try to murder you. And bullies. They're terrible bullies. Aha! This is a good sign. So these are the majestic beefalo. They are very important because they drop manure. And I'm trying to figure out what's... We'll just drop some pine cones here. Manure is incredibly important for food. So this is a huge success. I'm going to want to camp near them, but not too near them, because they will go into mating season. And when they go into mating season, they hate you. A lot. They will murder you, they will run you over, and they are way too big to pick on. So don't even try. Oh, jeez, we are just finding all of the things up there in the top. I don't know if you saw it, but right up here, there's a ring thing. And that is too close to the buffaloes for my comfort level, but potential. And you can see that through all this time I've been kind of wandering around. I haven't really been eating all that much, haven't been picking all that much food, but I've still survived all this time. So you can see that light is by far the most important thing. Well, I have found the beefalo. That's important. They're right along a road, which is great, because remember what I said about roads and traveling. So I know that I want to make a permanent base camp somewhere around here. Let's see. Here's a berry bush. Here's some more grassland. there's not any rabbits nearby, I typically like to camp near rabbits. Oh, wait, there's a rabbit. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we have plentiful food source. Renewable food source, that's the most important part. So this will be our base camp. And I am indeed getting hungry, so I'll just eat a couple of things. Alright, so right here, and my traps are up. Oh geez. That was definitely lightning. Now when we talk about setting up a base camp, keep in mind lightning will set your stuff on fire. So all of those gold nuggets that we've been collecting, those will come in handy because you can make a lightning rod. I'll show you that once we actually start getting things all set up. Yes, alright. Crud. I don't have inventory space. I'll eat some seeds. I'm just going to grab this trap. We'll migrate it back to my new base camp. Because I can't carry it right now, but it's very important and I don't want it to be sitting all the way up there. So I have to run all the way back every time I want to get some rabbits. Oh. Let's see, this is the road. There's the berry bush. It's got that funny little crook. I should have just enough time to set this before it gets dark. Bingo! Okay. Now, I've collected all these rocks, which is great because that means I can set a fire pit up. And just in time for night. Okay, now that I've got my permanent fire pit, the very next thing I want is a science machine. This is super important. Super important. Because look at what I can do now. Tons of stuff. So, lots more tools, and the shovel is super important amongst them all. Oh, I'm going to put my gnome down here. He's not that important. I just get gold out of him. It's no big deal. I'll toss another log on the fire. I'm gonna murder my rabbit. I'm sorry. And cook up the morsel because this is a survival situation. I'm hungry. It was him or me. Alright, let's see. So, I want to get a backpack. That's super important. Now I can carry 8 more items. And between the shovel and the backpack, I can start fleshing out my base camp. Start making things actually profitable. You know? Get myself all set up. Another important thing I want to do is I want to set up a farm. And the basic farm is great. It will grow seeds. It's very nice. Works really well. It's worth it to wait for the improved farm. For one, rocks don't have quite as many uses, and for the other, it grows stuff way faster. So I'll start gathering the grass that I need for that. Because I've parked myself right near a grassland, it's perfect. But you know what? I'm not even satisfied with that. I'm going to dig up all these grass tufts, and I'm going to make a little farmland right near my base camp. Because what's going to happen is later on, when it gets to be winter, I'm not going to want to leave my nice cozy fire. So the closer things are to camp, the better it is. And I don't want to have things too close to camp because at some point firehounds might come, burn all your stuff. It has its benefits and it has its hazards. Another great thing is that if you have a problem getting logs, but you have a permanent fire pit, grass tufts make really great fodder for your fire pit. Alright. I've got plenty enough. I'm just going to go ahead and leave all that there. Yep. I'm so hungry. But now that I'm close to my science machine, what else do I need for this? Ah, I need an alchemy engine. For the alchemy engine I need, okay, a little bit more gold. That's doable. Okay, so I need to refine some cut stone. What did that unlock? Ah, there's my lightning rod. Definitely want to make that. What this will do is it will prevent lightning from absolutely killing everything that I set up. No, no, don't dig. If you hit the space bar while you've got the shovel on, it automatically digs. It's terrible. Oh, I wish I had not done that. Because you can murder these guys. Let's see if I can. I don't know if. Let's see if he'll fall for it. He's falling for it. Yes! Ha ha! Fresh food! So yeah, you can lure turkeys with berries or roasted berries. They'll pop out of berry bushes. And that's going to be super filling. Ah, darn it. Yeah, it's worth it. See how big of a fire that makes? Holy cow. Oh, 35 hunger. What? That does not... Aw, that's terrible. Okay, so that was totally not what I anticipated. Well, I'm gonna check my trap. Set it back down. You can bait your traps with carrots and seeds and things like that. If you just put it right over the whole thing, it doesn't matter. They'll just walk into it anyways. You don't have to bait it. And then you can save that delicious, delicious food all for yourself. I'm gonna pick up my ring thing and go. There we are. Stay away from the murderous toads. They will kill you. Oh, and I am down to 2 logs. I'd better keep an eye on that. Because again, the most important thing about Don't Starve is fire. Ah, ooh, 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 ooh. Where's my shovel? Collect all your berry bushes. Seriously, it's important. Alright, let's see. I know I had some more traps up here somewhere. There we go, these berry bushes have repopulated. Got these guys. I'm running out of inventory space, but I'll go ahead and pick up that trap. And I can murder the bunny, turn him into a morsel, pick up the trap, put the bunny down, and if I click on him fast enough, it turns him into a morsel, so I can still get that. Okay. Oh, I'm gonna eat my roasted berries. So the reason I'm digging up all the berry bushes is I'm gonna put those close to my camp. That way I don't have to run around for all this insane food. Ah, suspicious dirt pile. That could come in handy later. Ah! One of the super convenient things about having a base camp is that when you go to look at the map, you can see it right there. You get all of your stuff set up, and the more elaborate your base camp gets, the easier it is to spot. You won't even have to zoom in after a while. Oh, and look, that grass tuft that I tossed on in the morning, still going. Very nice. Very, very nice. So I'm gonna set these up. Now, something that you'll notice is, see, this berry bush is all like poofy and rounded and stuff, and this one is all spiky. When you plant a berry bush, it will not produce berries unless you have manure. So we'll just fertilize those. Quickly get back to the safety of our light. And now those will start producing berries. And we'll have food right here. Won't have to travel too far. Nice renewable source. Meanwhile, I can cook up all the stuff that I got from before. Ah. It's kind of weird how morsels give you much better hunger than turkey. But okay. Rabbits are more filling than turkeys. Oh, and I have another rabbit here. I forgot to murder him. He will be tasty. And I should probably refresh the fuel. Ooh, seeds. I'll pick up the gnome. And, oh, because I'm saving logs by using grass tufts in my fire, I can refine those into boards. We'll go ahead and discover the rope. I don't really have a use for rope right yet. It will come in handy later. We'll go into this on the next video. But when you unlock something, it stays unlocked. So now I can craft rope anytime I want. What else do I need for this sciencey machine? Lots. Well, oh, and I'm starting my first beard. Well, we're at about 37 minutes in, so I'm going to go ahead and call this good. So hopefully this gives you a good idea of how to get started, how to survive the first few days. We're already in day 5, and we've got a pretty sweet little setup going. So we've had some rough times, but I showed you how to get through them. And next time, we'll go into a lot more about defense. And yeah, because you're going to want to know that. See you next time.